So if you're like me, most of the year you've been walking around like this. You have a mask on and very little makeup because why bother? This is all people are seeing of you. But Valentine's Day is coming up and I wanted to zhuzh it up a little bit. Whether you're staying at home or going out, you probably want to wear a little bit something special. But, you know, if you're going to be in a mask, a full-blown look with fake eyelashes and all that jazz probably wouldn't look so good with this. So I'm calling this a natural glam look for Valentine's Day. So you can just amp up your regular routine that you've been working on all year, which is this for me, and just bring a little bit more glamour to the holiday without looking overdone, like you've just like, where do you think you're going? We're just cooking in and having a bottle of wine. I got my hair cut. I went a little bit shorter this time. So as I go through this look, there should be something in your stash that you can use if you don't have the exact product I have. I think that this is more about just what you're applying and how you're applying it as opposed to getting those products, stepping out to the store and getting those products. So it's more about just using what you have in your stash and just, applying it maybe a slightly different way that you haven't thought of. I will go ahead and put links to everything down in the description box in case you're interested in seeing what I'm using, but shop your stash. That's what you should be doing. So I want this to be a very natural look. I don't want to look like I have a full face of makeup on because I know I'm going to be staying home. And even if I weren't, and you're heading out to a restaurant and you're, more than half your face is going to be covered by a mask and you don't want to leave most of it inside your mask, you want to be kind of thoughtful about what you're applying so that it looks really natural and pretty natural. So I think what I'm going to use is this little concealer stick from Fenty. This is in the shade Linen. I love this stick. I used to use it all the time as like a very light foundation. I'll show you how much I've used because it's a lot. If you look in here, you can see how much I've used. That's how much I have left. So what I like to do with this is just kind of scribble it all over my face and then I just blend it in. And I'm going to focus on some areas where I have some redness. This little blemish here, I've gone ahead and put my sunscreen on, this Oil of Olay Complete, the Daily Moisturizer with SPF 30 in it. It is my favorite. That should be enough. It's been a while since I used this, but I think that should be enough. I like this because it blends, it matches my skin tone so well that when I blend it in, it doesn't really look like I'm wearing anything. And that's going to be my goal here. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a little bit more and touch these places where I have redness. I woke up this morning and my entire face was one big flake. I think it's the dry skin, we're having that big snowstorm. If you end up using something like this works well because of the heat of your fingers, helps soften it up because it does feel a little bit drier texture, and even though I moisturized pretty thoroughly, I still see a little bit of flakiness, so bear with me on that. I'm just going to go ahead and press this in a little bit more with the Beauty Blender because I really want it to be one with my skin. And I am going to just do a tiny little bit of setting with this True Match powder. The shade I have here is W2 Light Ivory. So I'm just going to use a very small little brush and just kind of focus it on those areas that I need the most help, which is around my nose. There's this little blemish here. So that's it for my face. I'm not doing a lot on my face right now because, like I said, I want it to look really natural, like my skin, but a little bit better. Do you like my little sweater? Yes, I think it's so cute. I've had this for a couple years. I got it at Torrid and I was like, yes, I'll probably only wear it once or twice a year, but when I do, I'm gonna love it. So we've been walking around for almost a year now with most of our face covered up. Just our eyes are on display. And what this look is going to really focus on is playing up your eyes a little bit more with some brow products and a little bit of eye makeup, but not a ton of eye makeup. I think you're going to be a little surprised. Because I am going to put a little bit of eyeshadow on, I am going to go ahead and prime my lids. If you have less hooded eyes than I do, you might not need to wear any eyeshadow, and that's cool. This is something you can kind of customize it for yourself, but without eyeshadows, my eyes look very small because of the hood, so I am going to use a little bit of eyeshadow to play them up, and I'm going to neutralize some of that redness on my eyelid with my Bobbi Brown cream eyeshadow stick in vanilla. I just really love this. To use this as an eyeshadow base, it's super easy to put on and it does a great job. For my eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using a couple colors out of this ColourPop palette called Making Mauves, and I think what I'm going to use is this little light shade, probably like all over my lid, and then go into this to deepen my crease a little bit. It should be a pretty natural look. I don't want to look too heavily made up on my eyes, and so I am going to use a fluffy brush to apply that. So just, you know, your basic fluffy brush. I'm going to start in that light color and just dab that all over my eyes. It is a very light wash of color, which is a good foundation for this little soft look that I'm applying. And that's almost to like set this eyeshadow stick. I just feel like it helps it last a little bit longer. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into this darker shade in my crease. And I'm going to use a smaller brush, but a smaller fluffy brush. And this one, it just comes to a little bit more of a point. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of color on the point and kind of tap it up into my crease where I want it. You know, just proceed slowly. What I'm doing here is just giving a little definition to my hooded eye. So like I said, if you don't have hooded eyes and you have very open eyes, you can probably get away with just a very neutral wash of color or nothing. You know, that's up to you. And then I'm just gonna blend. Use this just to make sure everything's all blended. So it looks really pretty natural. Now, I'm debating this little shadow here in the corner. This is called Tongue Tied. And I don't know if you can see, it has like a little bit of, just a tiny little bit of sparkle in it. And I was thinking about tapping that on my lid. Use my finger. I don't know if you can see it on there. It's not super glittery. It's just like a little bit of something there. Before I finish my eyes, I want to work on my brows. And one of the tips I have for you, because you are mostly under a mask, you really want to make sure that you're framing your face appropriately, and you might want to have a more dramatic brow. This is what I walk around with most of the time, this kind of a brow, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use these two things from the Emily Awards video that I did. This is the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in Blonde and the Almay Brow Styler, and I think this is light brown. So this is just a little pencil to fill in a little, and this is like a little gel. I really loved these two to give you a little bit more of a dramatic, or to give me a little bit more of a dramatic eye look. But I think it makes a big difference when you're going around like this, that your eyebrows have enough drama to them to help your eyes stand out. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I think I do need a little bit of concealer. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of eye cream. I do this all the time. I put a few dots of eye cream, and I think that serves two purposes, or at least for me it serves two purposes. It helps hydrate the eye a little bit more, and it also thins out the concealer a little bit. When you have crinkly bits under your eyes, sometimes concealer just emphasizes that, and what you're trying to cover up doesn't end up getting covered up. So I'm using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer, and I'm going to do a dot in the inner corner where I have most of the darkness, and maybe one dot out here. Blend it with my finger a little bit and then finish up blending it in with the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. And I view this as like I'm mixing the two together right there on my skin, as opposed to doing it like on the back of my hand where you waste a lot of product, and then I just take this little brush and dab it around. Oh, I'm gonna have to close that blind. The sun came out, and then I will use a damp beauty blender, just to pick up any excess. I really want to have a fairly light application, so that's what I'm going for, and I think it's just enough to brighten up under my eyes, but still look really natural. So let's finish up the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead, curl my lashes, and put my favorite mascara on, the L'Oreal Butterfly Mascara. This is the waterproof version. All right, now this is where things are gonna get a little different. So I'm going to add to my mascara, I'm going to add a colored mascara. I'm going to use this blue mascara from L'Oreal, and I'm only going to use it on my lower lash line. Now, if you're a little bit younger than me and you want to do your upper lash line, go for it, girl. I think it would look super fun and super pretty for, a stay-at-home date night, even an outdoor, a going out date night if you're doing that. But this, I feel like it gives a little oomph to the eyes. The blue helps like brighten the white of the eye a little bit, and today I might actually go and put a tiny bit on the corner. So what I love about this is it's super fun. First of all, it reminds me of middle school from the dark ages, because that's how long I've been alive, but blue mascara was such a thing when I was growing up, which was probably around 1974, 75, 76, it was a thing. But I think applying it in a very subtle, strategic way gives your eye, like from here, you probably you don't really notice it so much. But when you're, go in and you're up close, and it does just give you a little something extra. All right, let's move on to the next part, which is to apply a little bit of blush and a little bit of highlighter. So what we're going to do is apply the blush and highlighter a little bit higher on the cheeks. So, if you are going out with a mask, more of it will be showing here. And if you're not, it'll still give you a nice lifted look. I would suggest you use like a cream blush, but if you don't have a cream blush, you can certainly use a lipstick. So pick out a shade of lipstick that you like, and you can apply that on your cheeks. And for the highlighter, I would highly recommend, if you have it, to go with a liquid highlighter or a cream highlighter, because we're going to put it here, like under the eye, not under the eye, but on the cheekbone, kind of in a little triangle here. And some of the powder blushes can be a little too glittery or shiny and can show a lot of texture here, which is where a lot of women have texture. So I'm going to go with this little highlighter. This is from Burberry. I don't even think they make it anymore, but it's something I had in my stash. And it is just a little liquid highlighter. And I'm going to just tap it in here. This ends up looking like a glow from within, without being like, oh, she's wearing highlighter there. What? It just gives you a little bit of glow there. This is kind of wacky, but I'm going to go ahead and use this Fresh Sugar tinted lip treatment in Berry. And I chose this because it is kind of sheer, and I wanted to show you that you can use a lipstick there. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend that in. And I like that it's a little sheer because then it's not going to look too heavy. But you don't want to look pasty like you have nothing on. This is not a new trick. Lots of people have talked about it. Your grandmothers probably did it. You know, it's going to peek out a little bit when you're wearing your mask. All right, we're going to finish this look with like a natural looking lip. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Super Stay Ink Crayon in number 25, Stay Exceptional. Stay Exceptional. And I like this one because it is kind of a natural shade, but it's not too brown, it's not too neutral. It's got a little bit of punch, and it's pretty long wearing. And if you are going out and you're worried about getting a lot of lipstick inside your mask, go ahead and blot it. Just blot it down, and it'll dry. Take some of that shine off and send that like glossy layer off, but it'll still leave you with color, and you shouldn't get too much transfer inside. So whether you're going out or you're staying at home, you can zhuzh up your look a little bit without looking like you are going to a beauty pageant. And you're going to feel good about yourself, and it's going to be fun. It's just a little oomph in your look. So a natural glam. I upload videos every Saturday morning, and I'll include a link to last week's video right up here, and I'll let the YouTube algorithm suggest something that you might enjoy over here. Let me know if you have any big plans for Valentine's Day, and I heart you all.